The following podcast has been brought to you by Audible.com. Sign up now using the URL audibletrial.com/TTV to get a free audiobook of your choosing. We recommend Brick by Brick, How Lego Rewrote the Rules of Innovation and Conquered the Global Toy Industry. You may recognize this as one of the sources we use in our show, Bionicle Autopsy. Remember, that's audibletrial.com/TTV. Enjoy the show.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, sync. Hello everybody, I'm Messinek.
I'm Kahi.
And I'm Venom.
And this is TTV Talks. Okay, enough of this. How's it going, guys?
Oh, it's been pretty good.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Nice. How's life been? It's been a while since I think I've been on a TTV Talk, especially with you guys.
Yeah, I know. This group, we haven't been together for a while.
Yeah,
In fact, I can't recall. I think the last one. What was the last one? Was it Avengers?
I
think it
guess
was Avengers.
it might have been. It might have been Daredevil.
Oh yeah. Well, no, I never. Fun fact: I've never even watched Daredevil.
Oh,
Okay, yeah, then
Never
it
mind.
wasn't Daredevil.
It wasn't Daredevil.
Also, there's something wrong with you.
I know.
Yeah,
Why?
everybody says
It's
that.
free, man. It's on Net. Okay, it's not free. It's on
It's
Netflix.
free. It's free on all the illegal websites that post TV shows and
fair,
movies.
fair enough. Fair enough.
Don't
Exactly,
use
so
kids.
do it.
No, I just haven't had the time.
Do it!
You should watch some movies, man.
When I had the time to get caught up with a show, I chose Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. instead of Daredevil.
Don't make me bring Shia
Yeah.
LaBeouf up in here.
Come on, you gotta just do it.
it.
Do it! What are you waiting for? Just
You know,
do it!
with
Yeah,
both
one
of
day
you
I
trying
saw
to,
that on
both of
YouTube
you
and I
trying
didn't
to,
know where it was from.
both of you are trying to imitate Shia LaBeouf, and I can exactly see why people say you sound alike. I didn't get it until you
Just
both tried to
do
imitate
it.
the same person. I was like, is that
Do
Ben
it.
or is it Matzo? I can't tell. But
That's great.
yeah, come on, you gotta catch up with Daredevil, man. Especially since all the TV shows are coming out. They got Jessica Jones coming out. Ant-Man just came out,
Very
which
true.
I saw last week.
I'm behind on the Marvel TV show front, but I am pretty caught up on the Marvel movie.
Did you
front.
go see Ant-Man?
I did go see it.
So you're in the loop with Ant-Man.
Yes.
Ben, did you go see
Dude,
Ant-Man?
heck yeah. Finally, he caught up with the big kids, Kahi.
I know, dude. Wait, you saw it too, right?
Of course.
Dude, perfect. We can
Yeah.
talk spoilers around the other scrubs that haven't seen
like
it.
okay, fair enough. Like none of the others at TTV have seen Ant-Man. So like, be warned if we get into a discussion about Ant-Man, we will probably talk. Spoilers.
Yeah, it'll probably be spoilers.
By the point this comes out on Vessel, you know, Ant-Man has been out for a week, and by the time it comes out on YouTube, it'll be 2 weeks.
Well, some
So,
people,
you know.
like yourself,
Man.
are still interested in seeing it, but still wary of spoilers. You know, they haven't gone to do it yet. So, just be warned, there's a spoiler talk, possibly.
Yeah. So like, with Ant-Man, it's like, from the moment it got announced, well not announced, because it's been announced for many years, but from the moment that they kind of said, okay, we're shifting directors, there was a lot of skepticism about the movie, but I have always been firmly in the camp of this will be a good movie. I think it's going to pull through, and it's going to surprise a lot of people. And, well, I liked it. I don't know about you guys, but I thought it was great.
I wouldn't say it was great. I thought it was good.
No, I
thought it
liked
was
it.
really good. I liked it
You wouldn't say
quite
it
a
was
bit.
great. It's probably my fourth favorite Marvel movie at this moment. Although I know a lot of that is just the fresh feeling.
Yeah, it might be. I haven't seen... Well, I saw a lot of the Marvel movies recently because to get ready for Age of Ultron, I watched everything again.
Truth.
So, I have a clear picture in my mind, but it's still not super clear. Ant-Man's still the latest movie I saw. I thought it was okay. There's parts of it, I didn't think it was bad at all. I thought it was one of the better movies. I liked it better than I did Captain America, First Avenger. I liked it better than I did Thor. But there was there wasn't a grand thing behind it. I didn't like that. Or no, I didn't like that. It didn't grip me. You know what I'm
It's
saying?
a pretty small movie.
It's a pretty
no pun
small
intended.
movie. And that doesn't means it's bad. Just, I don't know. I couldn't get into it as much.
I will say, like I will kind of agree with you there. The conflict in this movie felt very small in scale, especially coming after Age of Ultron.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like this was. There's a dude who could potentially do some bad stuff.
There's a guy who wants to sell some weapons to Hydra.
Who still exists in some small capacity.
Somehow they
after they got wrecked completely. But yeah, like I understand that about Yellow Jacket. It's because like my thing with him, I thought he was a pretty good villain when all was said and done, but he never really seemed to do anything of substance. It's like the worst thing he did was destroy that train set,
right,
and throw it around, and blow stuff up.
Right, and there was
no massive loss of life.
Yeah, and I guess they didn't really emphasize They didn't really emphasize how much of a threat he actually was either. He felt like a pretty underwhelming villain.
And really,
I'm a bit torn on him, honestly, because I think that they did a sufficient job of portraying how unhinged he was getting as the movie kind of went on. Like, he killed that one dude without a second thought pretty early on, and they were like, oh, okay, this dude's serious business. And especially that scene where they all had their guns pointed at each other, and he was just, like, coming apart at the seams a little bit. I thought that was pretty well handled.
Well, let me get this out of the way. I like that actor. The actor, I forget what his name is, but he plays Peter Russo on House of Cards. And he's a really good actor.
Corey Stoll.
And I feel like it was really the part of the script. Here's the thing. Hank Pym keeps saying that he sees himself in Cross, in Darren Cross, who becomes a Yellow Jacket. But you never see it. The audience never sees that. They don't see him sit down and figure out stuff and be a smart scientist kind of guy. That's something that Hank Pym can definitely see in himself. You don't see that. You're just told that. You see him show off the suit that he's created, and that's it. You see him be a little evil, I guess, killing people because they don't want to buy his stuff. But that was my main thing, in which, they could have made him a much better villain. You don't need to have, an over-the-top crazy guy, but you could have made a better villain than that. I mean...
Yeah.
I suppose that is
true.
He
was just he was told he was the villain, I guess. You're told that he's the villain because of the story tells you that he's the villain. He's never shown to be the villain. Outside of, selling stuff to Hydra.
Yeah.
Well, okay, fair enough. He kills somebody, so I guess
just
they
a little bit wacko, yeah.
He had a few, see, I'm really torn because he's more memorable to me than the worst of Marvel villains.
Right.
Malekith.
Like Malekith
yes.
or Ronan or in Guardians of the Galaxy.
No, Ronan's more memorable, definitely. Ronan's way more memorable than Cross. You've seen Ant-Man recently.
Oh, you think?
You've seen Ronan, it's been a year since you've seen Guardians, and you saw Ant-Man recently. You come back to this, Ronan is definitely way more memorable than Cross. I guarantee you.
Ronan had two cool moments. His fight with Drax, and the end when he kind of, didn't get taken down by the ship crashing, and he just kind of walked out like nobody's business.
Yeah, I'm not saying he's a good villain. I'm saying he's better than Cross. Cross does not have any big moments.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't think that... I think he had a couple memorable moments.
I think I'd put him on the same
I'd put
level.
Cross...
I'd put him on
exactly. Obadiah Stane. Well, even less now. I know, I'd put him just
for me,
Hammer.
there's three tiers of... There's three tiers of Marvel villains. There's, everybody up top, like Loki and Ultron, and even I'd go so far as to say, Alexander Pierce / Winter Soldier, that dynamic from that movie. Then there's tier 2, which is Stane.
Well, you put Pierce up there?
And Cross. And then at the below that, there's basically everybody else.
You put Pierce...
Justin Hammer, who I don't like, and Ronan.
Okay, I disagree with that. I don't think Pierce belongs in that top tier list at all.
He was good. Not by himself, but a lot of people don't consider Winter Soldier as a villain, but I consider it kind of like Hydra was the villain of that movie. And Pierce and Winter Soldier represented the two sides of that coin. Pierce was the brains, Winter Soldier was the muscle.
Yeah,
and
but
together
Pierce
it combines.
Okay,
yeah,
so do you put Justin
role,
Hammer and
really
Whiplash up because of their interaction?
Yeah,
they had the same dynamic. I actually thought their dynamic was funnier than Pierce.
It evidently wasn't
like
as
Pierce and Winter Soldier don't have any
I don't remember a thing about it.
memorable interactions with each other outside of the guy shooting his maid.
I'm talking about being effective villains. I remember nothing about Whiplash or Hammer other than I didn't like
because you haven't watched
I
Iron Man 2 in a
liking
while. You keep doing this thing where like it's fresh in your memory. Darren Cross is a pretty bad villain, and maybe like a year from now when we go back and we all watch the Marvel movies again, we'll be able to rank them and be like, all right, yeah, no, but I guarantee you, Cross will be way lower on your list.
We shall see.
Fans, remember this. Okay, we're going to bring this up at some point, and Mess is going to be like, "Oh, yeah,
I'm just saying we're talking about it being memorable, and if they were memorable, they were.
Yeah, I know. Cross is not memorable at all.
I don't think Ronan or Justin Hammer are that.
I don't think they're that memorable.
But I honestly put all
they're
those
on
guys
the same scale.
ranking.
They're all like on the same scale of like. Not memorable.
Really, the ones I don't like, or that I like the least, I guess, are Malekith and Ronan.
Yeah,
they were just really stale for me. Also, Justin Hammer.
Yeah.
And Whiplash.
I would put Malekith and Whiplash on
Killian
the same scale because they're both really terrible villains. But all right. But back to Ant-Man.
Anyway, this isn't a villain talk. Back to Ant-Man. There's more to the movie than Yellow Jacket.
Hank Pym.
I don't know. I really liked it.
Oh, well, wait, real quick. While we're still on Yellow Jacket, I gotta say, the dude put on his suit really fast.
Right? Yeah. That was pretty quick. I don't know if that was like Iron Man suit technology that he was able to like put on that suit as quick as he did.
I figured it was pretty similar. Yeah.
But also, Ant-Man put on his suit pretty fast too. Like the guy's coming around the corner, he's in prison, and like. The suit enlarges, and he somehow takes off all his prison clothes and puts the Ant-Man uniform on.
I gotta say this, you just reminded me about, like, prison reminded me of the scene where he got picked up from prison by, like, his friend, which reminded me of his group of friends. I gotta say, the Ant-Man, Scott's crew, or whatever you call them, comedy gold.
Okay.
No, yeah, dude.
They were one of the best parts in the movie.
He's Spanish fan.
Luis.
Michael Pena.
That whole transition where he's talking to like other people, that is definitely left over. That is definitely left over from Edgar Wright. That's completely his style of directing. That was done, and it was so good. They're like, all right, we have to use it in this movie because Edgar Wright does that kind of thing in all his movies all the time, and that's one thing that like I was a little iffy on with Ant-Man because Edgar Wright has a very good direction. And the guy who did Ant-Man did a bit more of a generic action movie kind of directorial take on it. Which was, wasn't bad, but...
Wait, what?
I don't know what you mean.
You lost me there.
I didn't notice any differences in, like, the directorial takes. It all flowed together.
No, okay. How do I say it? Have you ever watched an Edgar Wright movie? Like Shaun of the Dead or... I
don't know.
like...
movies.
Okay, I've seen Shaun of the Dead.
If you take a notice, like you notice his transitions and the way he sets up frames and stuff, it's okay. I mean, basically, he has a very interesting way of cutting, and he has an interesting way of framing stuff, and it's visually he's a very unique director. He's a very stylistic
director.
So there are
Fair
elements that I wish, like, oh man, I wish that Ant-Man had a style to it, because it's filmed like a normal action Marvel movie.
I suppose. I don't know. I think it worked out very well. I gotta say, the things that Ant-Man does really well is it's a very creative movie, obviously, with the shrinking.
Yeah, okay, those scenes are pretty cool.
Like pretty much every action scene was like top notch.
It was like
for me.
It was
in terms of
I'd say, I mean, number one is of course Winter Soldier. Winter Soldier has hands down the best choreography, but
of course.
It came out pretty up. All the action scenes were really, really well done. Which is Something that
I
you don't
agree.
always see, in a lot of movies from Marvel because they're more focused on powers.
His fight with
Yeah,
Falcon
Falcon was great.
was great.
Oh
funny.
man, Falcon.
I'm so glad I wasn't spoiled for that.
Yep,
Me too.
like a lot of people were because it was in TV commercials. But yeah, I thought that was perfectly woven
that's
in.
really stupid, too.
Well,
Just saying.
all of
Yeah.
Ant-Man's trailers were pretty stupid. Well, I guess the second one was okay. The first one was really stupid.
I remember the first one. Yeah, it was super dramatic and like, oh, this is so serious. You need to become the hero, dude.
Yeah, I know.
But
Yeah, it was so melodramatic, and then the actual movie is just a whole lot of fun. That's the thing I really liked about this movie too. It didn't take itself too seriously. It was a lot of fun.
Yep.
It was a fun superhero movie.
I liked it because there were a lot of hidden references and Easter eggs and connectivity towards other films, but it wasn't like thrown in your face.
Yeah, not like
it
Iron
didn't
Man
feel
2.
shoehorned in. Yeah,
I felt Iron Man
like
2
that.
is a
'Cause,
great
like,
movie.
What
It has
of the yeah,
efficient
well,
world building
yeah,
and-
yeah, yeah. I thought Yellow Jacket was a
And
great
you're
villain.
wrong, and I can
So,
prove you
popular
wrong, and I can
opinions.
prove I'm right. Now, but for real though, there's a lot of good stuff.
Do you know that apparently something I didn't catch, but the Marvel Reddit says is that in the scene where he's selling the suit to the Hydra goons, someone in that scene has a 10 rings tattoo.
did not
on
catch
their
that?
Oh
neck.
yeah, I remember you
But-
told me that.
Yeah, the
Private
Ten Rings
chat.
tattoo
Yep.
is a big deal because they're alluding to the Ten Rings still existing beyond Iron Man 1. And if you've seen the mini movie All Hail the King, there is
they're
another Mandarin.
Mandarin.
There's an actual Mandarin.
Which is kind of weird why they're bothering to hint towards that, because we're probably not going to get an Iron Man 4
We're never
anytime
gonna see
soon.
Oh, who knows? He might be on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. or something.
There's just no way it's gonna fit into what's going on right now.
Yeah.
Because we're already getting into Civil War and all this like intense crap. It's like, oh yeah, by the way, guys, there's Mandarin.
Maybe Phase 4?
Maybe.
he'll
Oh,
come
honestly,
back for a
what
movie?
might happen is that
I
he
don't
might
know.
be
Phase 4.
somebody that, Luke Cage has to deal with. You don't know that. Or Jessica Jones has to investigate. She might put up in a TV
That
show.
would be very underwhelming.
That would be really underwhelming.
Well,
and
Ant-Man's
pointless.
villains are always
Yeah.
underwhelming. Ant-Man is not Ant-Man. Iron Man. Iron Man's villains kind of suck. But so do Ant-Man's villains, because Ant-Man
That
has
is
one
a
great
question,
villain, and
like-
it's himself. Alright, he has one great villain, and it's him,
like-
and he created Ultron, and it's, that whole thing. But Ant-Man
And they don't even have that in this cinematic
Ant-Man has not
universe.
had his own...
So,
the new Irredeemable Ant-Man's pretty good, but for a giant period of time, Ant-Man just phased out of comics. So he was a supporting character only. He didn't have his own series for a while.
So you never had any villains?
Well, he had one or two villains, but none of them are memorable. It was always him doing something with the Avengers that made it memorable.
Right. And it wasn't even like
Yeah, no,
Scott,
it was Hank.
right? It was
Well,
just
they
mostly
did do a
Hank.
great thing with Scott, and that's they introduced Scott, which I felt was a greater character than Pym, personally, for this movie at least. And they also introduced Cassie, who I love because she's a stature in the comics. She's a younger hero that gains powers.
Nice.
Oh, cool.
And it's nice having a father-daughter.
The father-daughter
Dynamic,
dynamic
yeah.
was great. That was a very fresh
Yeah.
take on a character.
Oh yeah, I loved it when when he gave her his gift. That
Yeah, I know
stopped
that looks so terrible. Like the most demonic bunny you could find.
And she's like, oh, it's so ugly. I love it. So
I liked it when she was
enthusiastic
talking to
about
the police officer, and she was like, "Are you trying to find my daddy?" And she was like, "I hope you don't catch him."
I like the fact that they subverted that thing of his ex-wife's husband, and his ex-wife's husband's actually a pretty decent guy, all things considered.
Yeah, that ending.
Oh, yeah,
was
Yeah, he's not like a
amazing.
jerk or anything. He tells him to get out of his house, but sure, it's your wife's ex-husband. Why not? And then he does his job as a cop, and
Well,
he
happens to be a
legitimately
criminal.
stays and protects the kid to the best of his ability because he doesn't have
Yep.
superpowers.
Yeah, and I like the
basically
ending.
does
They
his
were
job.
They were all happy.
Yeah, I know.
at the
I was like,
end.
all right,
They
yeah.
kept the giant ant.
it's good.
It's like a pet.
There's a freak that ant though. My God, I freaking hate large insects.
I saw an article on IGN where they were trying to be like, that ant could never survive and he's going to die a painful death. And I'm like, why are you killing people's fun?
No, definitely.
Just let him
I
have
hate
the ant.
I hate giant insects and stuff. Creepy. Friend. Okay,
That was
can we
great.
spend a little time talking about plot holes in Ant-Man?
Rip in peace, Anthony. And also, fine.
Oh no, Anthony. Was it Anthony
It was
or
Anthony.
Anti?
Anthony, I thought.
I mean, obviously,
But
this
sure,
is all
fine.
plot building up
holes,
to a scene in Infinity War where Iron Man builds a giant ant suit, and he's like, "Aha, Anthony 2.0." That's what it's building towards.
That would be...
Because he's Anthony Stark.
Great.
Get it, Tony? Okay. Well,
Wow.
Ant-Man has
Alright, then.
two plot holes, two big plot holes. Well, one big plot hole, and the other one's just kind of weird. The major plot hole
Okay.
is the ending, where he breaks his regulator and he shrinks, right? And he shrinks so small, and he's
Oh, yes.
right.
Oh yeah.
He goes
Takes
subatomic.
the yellow jacket in a brutal way, by the way. One arm, like, shrunk into the
Oh
other.
god, yeah, he just completely
That
imploded.
was like crazy. So here's the deal with Ant-Man. Ant-Man is shrinking down. Pym says earlier in the movie that the Pym particles work because they're able to shrink the distance in between atoms without sacrificing density. That's how Ant-Man, when he shrinks, he doesn't like fall through the table because he's so dense. As a thing, it negates density. Cool. It reduces the space between atoms. How is he able to go subatomic if all the Pym particles do is reduce the space between atoms? How does that work? At the most, he should be the size of maybe 100 or so atoms stacked together. Or, not the 100 or so atoms, but at the most he should be still pretty big compared to an atom. Because all it's doing is reducing the space. It can't actually make him smaller than an atom. How does that work?
Well, I guess they never really explained how that worked. How he just said, "Oh, don't touch that. You're gonna go
Right.
subatomic." He doesn't explain how you go subatomic, though. He doesn't explain how it works. He just tells you.
Right,
the
but they
consequence.
tell you how the Pym particles work, and then the consequence of
Yeah.
it is something that doesn't makes any sense at all. And that's something I didn't get. And the thing to me too is that I would also get it if I figured it out, because I'm kind of I know a little bit more about physics and about comics, and I'm a bit of a nitpicky person. But it was
You're just a big freaking
yeah,
nerd.
basically
That's what you are.
It wasn't me that figured it out though. I went with a whole group of friends, and it was my one of my friends' younger brother, and he's kind of my friend too, but he's 14, high school student. I guess he's homeschooled, but high school, and he's like an athletic guy. He's not he's not like a kid that's into science basically. But as soon as that movie was over, he turned to me and was like, "Okay, so if it reduces space between atoms, how can you go smaller than an atom?" And I was like, "That's a really good point, and I don't know what to say to that because that's really stupid." He was like, "I was just thinking that when he goes smaller than atoms, but it only reduces space." And again, this kid is 14. It's not like a thing where it's it's like all these nerds getting together after
Yeah.
the movie and they're like, "Well, Ant-Man can't go smaller than Ant." It's like literally, it's a kid, a normal kid, that's into sports and all that stuff. He's not like a kid that looks for this kind of thing. It stood out to him. That's a pretty big plot hole if it's that obvious.
I mean, does it ever happen in the comics?
Yes, but Pym particles don't work the same way that Hank Pym says they do in the comics. In the comics, Pym particles are just kind of this thing that it's kind of like unstable molecules that Reed Richards creates. It's science BS. Nobody actually knows what it does.
Reed Richards makes...
No,
the
Reed
Pym
Richards
particles.
makes unstable molecules, which are all the
Oh.
costumes in the Marvel Universe are made out of this thing called unstable molecules. And it just means that it's the stupidest. It means that they can use their powers
sounds so
and it
dumb.
doesn't affect their costume. So he can stretch and the suit stretches with him.
Oh, that's what
Right.
he used for all that.
Right. So
Fantastic
her
Four suits.
Sue Storm will go invisible, and her suit will go invisible with her. Johnny Storm will ignite, and his thing will be flame retardant. Unstable molecules, science BS. But my basic thing, I was talking to you, Meso. When you create a rule in your universe, you have to stick to it. All right, you have to be consistent with that because it ruins the suspension of disbelief. I can buy that Magneto is born with an ability to create magnets, to manipulate magnetic fields. I can buy that. That's not a thing where I'm obviously that's a stupid idea. How could you be born with that ability? But I can buy it for the movie. However, if Magneto uses it to lift a plastic fork in midair, That's when I'm like, okay, hold on.
And then the comic tries to explain, oh, well, you see, there are tiny
fragments of metal, the tiny fragments of metal located in the plastic factory, and that's how he was able to do that.
And then it's like, he's like fighting some sort of
he's fighting Plastic Man
adversary, and then the plastic guy can't be moved by his powers, and it's like, oh wait, I thought you could move plastic. Well, you see, there are only certain kinds of
This is
plastic
refined
that
plastic.
I can move because
Refined plastic.
Awful.
It's like you're making up rules to counteract the other rules, and
I guess like that's
it's basically the story of Mass Effect 3's ending.
They made like the thing is that they just could have said the pin particles just manipulates your size and proportion to whatever, just something like that, and that works. They don't need to say the reduced space thing. But some guy wrote that line into the script and then made him go subatomic later. Why? I don't know. Also,
for the sake of dramatic.
Yeah, it is pretty strange.
Well, it was to explain Janet.
Right, I guess so, yeah. Too. But, like, they could have just, they could have just went out elsewhere. The other thing is that I was kind of disappointed that he didn't become Giant Man. Because I was so sure he was going to become Giant Man.
Why would you be sure he was going to become
Because
Giant
he put
Man
the giant thing inside his belt.
Listen, that's gonna happen in the future.
Okay,
there would be no point. That's the kind of moment they have to save that for like.
I don't mind to save it. It's just someone is pointing out how did the giant thing know when to stop growing him?
That is a good point.
How did he know how to stop growing him at the size of a human? Because I thought he would just start growing and he's like, holy crap, and he becomes
like a tank,
right? It goes super big. I thought the same thing would happen to him and he would become Giant Man. That's what I thought.
Well, look, no. Maybe it works like in layers, to where if you're regular size, it will grow you. But if you're smaller size, it will grow you back to the default setting. It's back to zero.
Here's the second thing too. Okay, so we see him. He has his regulator. He opens his belt. He throws whatever it is, the thing that was inside. He throws it out and he puts the blue thing in, and he grows. Okay, he presses the button. He's able to grow. Immediately after he grows, the police come in. They can't find him. And his little girl looks, and there he is, and he's waving from behind the little globe. Remember? At the end, and then he jumps off. Uh-huh. He's small again. Yeah. How did he get small again?
These are good.
He has the big thing in his belt. How did he get small again? He threw it out in the microverse.
Because in order to activate the thing in his belt, he had to twist it. So that's what he did when he was subatomic, and in order to get small like normal, he just pressed the buttons on his gloves. See, it's two different functions, dude.
Listen. The big, it's implied.
That is true, I guess.
The big thing, the blue ones make you grow big, and the red ones make you grow small.
Yeah, if you twist your belt.
No, if you throw them and it hits somebody.
Oh, well, right. Yeah, that's
so when he puts it in his belt, he twists it, sure, but then he actually presses the button. It's implied that whatever he took out was a red one, and he put a blue one in, so he pressed the button. So now he's big again.
Well, maybe he had another one, dude. You know Hank Pym.
Remember, he gave him the things. He gives him 2 big ones and 2 small ones. He uses the 2 small ones when fighting Yellow Jacket. And he uses wait, no, he has 3 of them.
No, he used a big one.
Yeah, that's not Thomas the Train. No, he uses a red one.
Which, by the way, hilarious
Thomas
moment.
the Train's pretty funny.
That was great.
Yeah, that was
freaking hilarious.
Freaking funny.
I'm pretty sure he throws all his red ones at Yellow Jacket and misses.
Well, look, we'll never know.
But yeah, so that's I just thought that was I thought that was really stupid in the plot hole.
I think you're really stupid.
But hey, it's still a good movie. It's still a better movie than some of the other ones. Although I do want to see some of the movies again.
Iron Man 2. That movie was awesome.
Iron Man 2 is probably
Iron Man 2 is a fine movie. It's a perfectly good
It's
movie.
either Iron Man
horrible
2 or
movie.
Iron Man 3, because like
Okay,
Iron Man 2
listen,
was
how
just
can
bad,
you
Iron Man 3
enjoy
was
this film
insulting.
for not taking itself seriously and not enjoy
I actually did
Iron
like
Man 3?
Iron Man 3 more than Iron Man 2.
Yeah, I definitely enjoyed it, because like the Mandarin thing didn't make me as mad as it did some people, but it's like, Iron Man 2 was bad, Iron Man 3 was insulting, so it's like, which is
It
worse?
wasn't insulting. It was a plot twist.
It insults
It
the
was
Mandarin,
insulting.
alright,
It was
the
pretty
Mandarin, nobody
insulting.
cares about the Mandarin. You look in the comics, everybody's forgotten.
Listen,
Because
we're
they
not
didn't give
doing
us a
this. We're
reason
not
to.
doing this right now.
No one
Listen.
gave us a reason to care about the Mandarin. It's like no one gave us a reason to care about Loki until
No,
Thor came
Loki-
out. Now
Loki
everyone
was a
cares
big
about
character
Loki. Everybody
in
loves
comics
Loki.
beforehand.
Yeah.
So was...
That doesn't matter. We're talking
I know.
about the movies.
What I'm saying is that
Yeah, Kahi, the
people don't
movie.
care enough about the Mandarin as a character. The same way people don't care enough about Aquaman that they made him
Yes,
black.
because he wasn't
like
in the
Aquaman is
movie.
black now. Okay, in the new DC universe, nobody's complaining because Aquaman needs to be redesigned.
Evidently,
What does
people
that have
I'm
to
saying
do
that
with
the-
this?
Evidently, people cared about the Mandarin to some degree because people got mad when he was Aldrich
No,
Killian.
yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
Aldrich Killian was a stupid move. They should have made
Especially
it Aldrich
since the
Killian.
Mandarin is supposed to be, Iron Man's arch nemesis, his main
Iron Man has
villain.
terrible
Like,
villains.
That's like if people. It's like if Green Goblin came out in the first Spider-Man movie and he was
No, it's not. It's like if Captain
just
Cold came
completely
out.
stupid.
He was.
It's like if Captain Cold came out and he
No,
was
yeah,
like...
it just turned out to be James
Right.
Franco the whole
No,
time.
no,
James
no.
Franco didn't
Spider-Man-
even have the suit
Spider-Man's
or nothing.
different.
He was just
Spider-Man's
he
on a
just had, like,
different level
glowing
because
red
Green
eyes.
Goblin's a good villain.
like,
Mandarin's a terrible villain.
See,
Nobody cares about
that's
the Mandarin.
subjective, though. That is completely subjective, and that has
Yeah,
nothing
it
to do
is.
with it. Because it's the same argument. You said that no one cares about Mandarin in the comics. Well, okay, we're not talking about the comics. We're
Okay,
talking
we're
about
talking
the
about
movies.
This
The
isn't
general
TTV
audience-
Talks. This isn't TTV Talks about
The general
Ant-Man.
audience is going to care about what they
Right.
see in the movie. So
This-
that's where you bring in the Mandarin and you give them a reason to like the
Definitely.
character.
Yeah, okay. Yes.
But they didn't. Yes!
Okay.
Which is why Iron Man 3
I don't
sucks.
think it sucks because of that. I think that the Mandarin...
No, actually, it doesn't suck just because of that. It sucks for a bunch of other reasons, but that's one of the
feel
big
like
ones.
The Mandarin being a red herring is a good plot twist. What is not the good resolution is having Aldrich Killian be the Mandarin at the end. If they just cut out that scene where he's like, I am the Mandarin, I feel like the movie holds up way better.
Well, look, we'll talk about that in the future. Iron Man 3 retrospective. But for now, Ant-Man.
Ant-Man.
Yeah, it had plot holes. Yellow Jacket may not have been the best. But I think that, aside from Guardians of the Galaxy, this is one of the most fresh-feeling Marvel movies we've had in quite a while. And it's kind of a shame that this movie is bombing in the box office. By Marvel standards, of course. It's
I
actually
swear, I
doing
think
very well.
I really think it's because people are just
But
underestimating the idea of Ant-Man.
I think that's part of it. I also think it should be noted that a new Pixar movie and Minions all came out around the same time.
No, those are
well,
different
yeah, I
audiences.
That may be siphoning the younger demographic.
I personally think it's because, like, I know you enjoyed it.
Because
I
apparently
personally
Ant-Man has
thought
had the
Ant-Man was an
largest
okay
family
film.
showing.
It was an okay film, and people were. I mean, look at the recent films we got from Marvel. We got Guardians, we got Age of Ultron, and we got Winter Soldier. Those are the last films we got. So going back to like a Thor, Captain America level film is okay. And I kind of always knew it was going to be that. It's still a good movie. It's not the best. And
I think it's the best Marvel origin story. I did like this more than Iron Man 1. It was close. It was by
Did
like
you
a
really?
fraction.
Really?
Honestly,
it was by a
I thought
small
this. I mean,
fraction. Iron Man and Ant-Man are roughly on the same level, but something about Ant-Man put it.
it's probably because you
above
saw Ant-Man
Iron
recently.
Man for me.
Oh my gosh, Kahi, shut up.
Are you ever
No,
gonna
I'm
stop?
not. It changes your perception of
Yes, I'm not gonna go rewatch every Marvel movie before I see Ant-Man, so I can make fair and objective claims to make you happy. But yes, in my mind, it does edge it out, and it's definitely better than like First Avenger. And
Well,
Thor.
how about this?
All
I
that.
can say that I still like Iron Man 1 better, and I haven't seen Iron Man 1 in months. How about
Fair
that,
enough.
Kahi?
Yeah, that makes it kind of happy. It balances the scale.
Yeah. And it's because you don't remember Iron Man 1.
Well,
Get out of here.
it's it was a cool movie.
You're a cool guy.
No sign of us getting a sequel anytime soon. At least not in Phase 3. So be it. But
I think a sequel would be pretty cool.
I don't know what
we
they'd
would
do.
get to see him be Giant Man.
Yeah.
Or I don't know.
Oh yeah,
Anyway.
Wasp. Wasp is a thing. That
Oh
was
yeah,
cool.
Wasp, dude.
Oh yeah, real quick.
Oh
before,
yeah.
Before we
Mid-credits
end,
and
we have to talk about the
post-credits.
post-credits scenes. Now, Kai, are you even there? You went quiet.
I think he got mad because we didn't like his Iron Man 2.
Yeah. So like for now.
I've been talking this entire time. It's on recording. Oh, no wonder you guys haven't been responding.
No. Wow.
Oh, okay. Well, all right.
Laura's gonna.
Did you? What was the last thing you heard me say?
Nothing for a good while. Look, we're talking about post-credits scenes now.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
Wasp
Alright,
was
so
neat.
you came out.
That
If this movie came out in
post-credits scene,
2008,
man.
you guys would be like,
Kai, we're done.
Yeah, Kahi, shut up.
all right.
Post-credits scene. Amazing
Wasp was
reason.
cool. I liked that reveal, and obviously the clip from Civil War. What does it mean? I think it's pretty. People are a lot very unclear as to what it means. Some people think like Bucky is in Cap's custody for some reason, but I didn't get that vibe. I got that they like found him chained up somewhere, or like people had held him captive and they'd wired his arm to like explode or something if he was removed
Right.
from his trap, and they needed Iron Man to come defuse it, but he can't. So they said,
saw it
we'll
as,
call
like,
Ant-Man.
Bucky
Oh.
is still considered some sort of fugitive.
Right.
And so, but of course Cap isn't going to like turn him in. That's his friend. He's looking for him so he could help him. And obviously
Personally?
the government isn't really going to help do that. So
Here's what I'm going to spitball. Well, oh, sorry. Finish up your thing, Ben.
yeah, just real quick. That's kind of what's alluded when Cap says, "Oh, they aren't going to help us," or whatever the heck.
The Accords
Exactly.
won't let him
Yeah,
help
the
us.
Accords won't let Iron Man help us or something. And that probably refers to the fact that, again, Bucky is probably a fugitive and blah, blah, blah. They have their own agenda. Cap has his own, and there's disagreements, so on and so forth. Anyway, go on.
I feel that as the government is going to start, this is spitballing. I have no idea. This is what I would assume for this, or not even assume. I say the government has, in lieu of everything that's happened beforehand, given a zero tolerance for Hydra agents, and they're hunting them down. And they're killing them immediately. And Bucky's still considered a Hydra agent.
Right.
And Iron Man supports this because, you know, all the stuff with Ultron. He's trying to atone for his sins there. But in the meantime, one of the things that's notable is that Falcon, when he first finds Bucky, is like, yeah, this has been way different. We found him a week ago. So something had just happened that made them not able to get to Iron Man. So I think something along those lines would be like that. And, you know, maybe, you know, when Ant-Man's going to come in, that will change the tide of things. Because we know who is it. Isn't War Machine on Iron Man's side?
I would be heavily surprised if he wasn't.
Yeah.
And some other people.
I don't know, yeah, I saw it, like, Bucky was gonna trapped there and they needed a tech guy to defuse the thing, and Iron Man can't do it because they're fighting with him. Or he's on the side of the
maybe they need
government,
to
and they
evacuate
needed
him
it
out.
then they needed Scott Lang because he can shrink in there and disable it.
Break in,
Yeah.
disable it.
But you know, either way, it's gonna be good stuff. Because apparently that was a clip from the movie. It isn't something they filmed for the post.
Yeah, no, you could tell it was different. Like, just the way it was shot.
Yeah.
Russo brothers have a very distinct style.
Yeah.
next,
I just know that the second that scene came on, you heard the music or the ambience from Winter Soldier. I was like, oh, it's about to go down.
It's about to go down.
The credits end, and I'm like, man, that was a really fun movie. That was hilarious. Oh, everybody be quiet. This is serious.
Serious
This is some
business.
serious stuff right here.
I think right now I'm looking more to I'm looking forward to Civil War more than anything.
Yeah, me too.
Civil War has
really
the
excited for
potential
that.
to be better, even better than Age of Ultron. So we'll see what happens.
It really does, honestly, and it might be because the Russo brothers are the only people that, like, second to Joss Whedon, that I would love to have directing that. So.
Yep, it's going to be like the trial run. We're going to see how they handle an Avengers movie before the actual Avengers movie.
the Avengers movie.
So, with that being said, that's pretty much all for TTV Talks about Ant-Man. And we will see you all next time for the next exciting Marvel TTV Talks, next year for Civil War, and the next regular TTV Talks next week. So thank you all very much for listening, and be sure if you want to share your opinions on Ant-Man, continue the discussion on the TTV Message Boards. I'm sure we have an Ant-Man topic somewhere.
I'm sure we do.
So thank you for listening.
If we don't, start it.
Yeah, start it. I'm Messina.
I'm Kahi.
I'm Venom. And remember, Iron Man 2 sucked.
Yeah, that's the moral you can take away. Iron Man 2 is garbage tier.
If Ant-Man came out in 2008,
I would still like it better than Iron Man 2.
Same opinion. It would not be as high ranked.
I would still like it as Iron Man. Still like it better than Iron Man 2.
We should have TV Talks about Iron Man 2.
Bye, guys.
Bye.